The MacBook Pro Retina Edition is frankly, in my opinion, the best MacBook design ever made. Even today, like if you were to take the latest MacBooks and put the processor and specs inside this computer, you would actually get a very powerful computer that frankly, if Apple sold, it will sell like hotcakes and fly off the shelves. And I would like to explain why. So the first reason is the screen. Now this one has kind of gotten obsolete, obviously, because it was a screen released in 2013, 2014. But even today, a Retina display is very good. The color accuracy of this display is good, the resolution is pretty nice, and it's 16 by 10, which is brilliant for having more room and real estate for you to type documents and see more lines of words on your screen, which makes it much more conducive for basically doing any sort of professional or serious work. And even today, this screen can be considered good, but back then, can you imagine compared to the rest of the market, how good this Retina display was? And that's no wonder why the computer sold so many units. Second is definitely the I/O. I love the I/O on the MacBook Pro. You've got all the ports you need. This Retina edition just is way better than the newer MacBook Pros. You don't have to use a stupid dongle or an adapter. It's got USB Type A, you've got Thunderbolt 2, which if you were to make a modern version of this, just put USB-C Thunderbolt 3 on there. And you've got MagSafe, which is the beautiful charging technology that Microsoft has on the Surface, but for some reason Apple wants to remove from this laptop, and a SD card reader, which is super duper convenient for a lot of different types of work, say creatives, or just, as a way to transfer data from one computer to the other. I think SD cards are better than thumb drives, even though not many people do that. And finally, the HDMI port, which is full-sized and super convenient for plugging into a projector, a screen for presentations. Just made sense with this MacBook Pro, and that I/O just so good, so convenient, and it just made sense. Unlike the new MacBook Pros where you need a dongle for everything, which is so dumb. The next reason is definitely the keyboard. I think this is still to this day one of the best laptop keyboards out there. Lovely travel, lovely sound, very comfortable to type on, good feel. It's kind of not too heavy, not too stiff, kind of light, but there's plenty of travel. It's very comfortable, and even the new M1 MacBooks, they can't come close to the keyboard you find on this laptop. It's just the best laptop keyboard that I've used in my life. And I think while the newer laptops, especially on the Windows side of things with the Dell XPS and the new Asus and HPs and all that stuff, they're getting better and better and better. I think this really set the benchmark for what a good laptop keyboard felt like, and all of those keyboards on those newer laptops are just trying to emulate and reach the bar that this MacBook Pro set, which really shows how revolutionary I think this generation of MacBooks are. But more on how revolutionary this generation is later on. Let's just focus on why I love this design so much. Next up is definitely the design of this laptop. It wasn't so thin that, they couldn't fit all the ports and batteries and all features they needed on this laptop. And it looked good. I think it was iconic. I think it is still iconic to this day. It looks really, really nice, and it stood out. And it's so nice that Razer literally ripped off the entirety of this design to make their Razer Blade laptops for the longest period of time. Of course, the newer Razer Blades have a new sharp edge to them, unlike the older Razer Blades, but the first 3, 4 generation of Razer Blades were literally just Windows MacBook Pros, and I can see why. The design just was that good. And unlike Apple of today, Apple of then didn't obsess over making the laptop overly thin, which meant they could fit more things in here. And this MacBook Pro Retina Edition could just fit all those things that I talked about before and from now, which is great. Frankly, we don't need an excessively thin laptop. I think this has the perfect balance between big to fit more features and thin to be portable and easy to carry around. Next up is definitely the trackpad. Now, Apple really set the scene with laptop trackpads when they put an actually usable trackpad on the MacBook Pro Retina editions. That was glass, beautiful, smooth, very easy with excellent gesture controls. Windows laptops have since then caught up with this laptop, obviously. The Dell XPSs, LG Grams, all that, they have great trackpads now with Windows Precision drivers and all that stuff. Very easy to use, very good. But it was undoubtedly thanks to this MacBook Pro Retina edition that I think the focus on trackpads became more and more prominent. And it was like because of this and the MacBook Pro prior to this model that people started to go, especially the Windows laptop manufacturers started to go, Maybe we shouldn't force our users to have to use a wired or wireless mouse on the side. Why don't we just give them a good trackpad with good functionality? And this laptop definitely helped usher that kind of golden era of laptop trackpads. Obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but it's undoubtedly because of this laptop and the laptop before this that made kind of high quality trackpads more common on laptops from all platforms, which is good. And next up is definitely the webcam. It was better than the rest of its class, better than the market at that point in time when it first came out. And obviously Apple has kind of fallen short with their new laptops in terms of the webcam quality, but back then the webcam quality on the MacBook Pro Retina edition was far better than a lot of webcams out there. And obviously there were some outliers on the Windows side of things that had really good webcams. But I think the MacBook Pro Retina had one of the best in the whole game at that point in time, and that kind of set the scene furthermore, which is awesome. So why do I think this was such a revolutionary laptop, and why do I think this generation of laptops was so good? Well, I think it's because they set the bar for a lot of things, and a lot of computer manufacturers, even to this day, are trying to emulate this generation of laptops when it comes to their own laptops in terms of the trackpad, the keyboard, the design, the build, the feel of this laptop. When it first came out, it was like nothing else, and frankly, when you picked it up, you'd be like, oh, this is a one fancy hell laptop. And even to this day, when you pick it up and you use it, it still feels really premium. And with Apple's lovely software updates, you can use it with the latest softwares. Although trying to edit 8K video on this with DaVinci Resolve probably isn't the wisest thing to do. It's cool to see that a lot of the things with this laptop are still kind of industry standard today, which really tells you how good this was in terms of its design. From its keyboard to trackpad to I/O to screen, it just was a very solid laptop all around. And this and the MacBook Air of that time really set the scene and kind of created a blueprint for Windows laptop manufacturers to copy, which frankly isn't a bad thing. I'm glad that the design's kind of gone this way, and that there are so many premium Windows laptops nowadays that really compete on this level, but I don't think it would have been possible without the absolute success that this MacBook Pro was. And it's peak Apple, you know. Nowadays, Apple, every time they give you something new, it's almost like they want to take something else back in return. They give you an impressive iPhone 12 Pro that a lot of people love and adore, but they take the charger away from you. They give you Face ID, but they take away the thumbprint, fingerprint scanner from you. They give you, you know, the M1 Max, but they take away the use of external GPUs from you. Like, it seems like Apple today is full of compromise. Using Apple today, while lovely and very good from many aspects, just has a lot of giving way to the manufacturer. And I think the old Apple just didn't have this issue. Just the products they released were just good, straight up bangers from outside the penalty box. I think they were really, really nice. But nowadays, Apple kind of does that while being completely anti-consumer and being complete scumbags, and it's just kind of sad. But either way, that's it for this video. I hope you guys found the discussion interesting and a bit of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions you want to ask away down in the description, Instagram or Discord. I'll see you guys next time. Like and subscribe, blah blah blah. You know the YouTube drill. Goodbye. Peace. Goodbye. See you soon. Blah blah blah.